What is up, everybody? It's Zach from Premier Soccer Investing coming at you with another SlabStox FC YouTube video. And this one is your transfer window primer for this summer. It's going to be one of the most important transfer windows in recent memory. Huge names should be on the move. Huge transfer fees should be paid. And this will have a huge effect on the card market. First, Champions League recap. This week was the second leg of the Champions League quarterfinals. And the teams going through are Chelsea, PSG, Man City, and Real Madrid. The Chelsea game, they were comfortable, just tried to kill off the game with their 2-0 lead from the first leg, but Porto scored an absolute worldie of a goal in one of the last minutes of the game with an insane bicycle kick, but it was too little too late. In the PSG Bayern game, it was almost a reverse of the first fixture, and where Bayern had the majority of the chances but couldn't convert, and PSG was really efficient on their chances. This one, PSG had the much better chances. Neymar was spectacular, almost had a hat trick. Instead, didn't score at all, kept hitting the post. Bayern didn't have many chances, but scored on the one they did, but it wasn't enough as PSG go through and away goals. Man City, Dortmund got off to an early lead thanks to Jude Bellingham's fantastic goal, but City took control of the match with a penalty and then a goal later on, and that was enough to see them through to the semifinals. And then Liverpool, Real Madrid, it's a smart, professional performance, what you've come to expect from them in the Champions League, killed off the tie after the 3-1 win in the first leg. So now in the semifinal, we're going to have Chelsea versus Real Madrid and PSG versus Man City. So some huge matchups coming. And Foden was the star for City in that second leg. He scored an absolutely insane goal off a corner kick, smashed it into the near post and in. And his cards saw a little bit of a spike, as you can see here on the SlabStox graphic. He's been up huge since January, but just in this recent off this Champions League, the cards shoot up. I just again want to reiterate, big performances and big matches, your cards go up. So if you believe someone's going to have a big game, not a bad idea to load up on a couple of their cards and then sell after they do as you expect. You're going to make money doing that. Then, other big card news of this week, Panini dropped their preview for a Euro Mosaic set, and it's just the same design as the other Mosaic cards they put out over this past year, but for soccer. You have the stained glass insert, many other inserts, like a Net Masters insert. You have autographs of players like Ronaldo. Fati has a stained glass card. What's interesting, though, is Frankie de Jong, who's pictured here, his card does not have the rookie logo. However, his 2020 Euro Select card does, which is interesting. It's cards for the same tournament. Other big news this week was Obsidian Soccer released, which is a fan favorite of many people, though I personally not a huge fan of the cards. I know lots of people like them. And the checklist, I have to say, was awesome. Huge rookies in it. You have Bellingham, Mukoko, you have U.S. Women's National Team players, Camavinga, Musiala, Richards, Gravenberch, Traore, Curtis Jones. Basically, what you have in Obsidian is all the big names, all the big rookies that will be in Topps Chrome Champions League are in this set. So this was a great preview for the 2021 Topps Chrome's UEFA Champions League set, which will be absolutely massive. And while I like these players, I'm holding off on investing, not in their Obsidian cards, but instead I will be investing in their Topps Chrome Champions League cards because that's the iconic card, and that's the one that I think will carry the most value long term. But also the Color Blast insert, super popular, already selling really well. I think this Greenwood sold for around $5,000 last night, Color Blast insert. So yeah, those are always strong sales too. Now we're into the transfer window part of the show. So what I'm going to talk about here is the player, what clubs they're linked to, and a little bit about their cards, but this is going to mostly be focused on like their actual playing. So first off, Kylian Mbappe. He's been heavily linked to Real Madrid for the past couple years. Zidane has made no secret about how much he wants his fellow countrymen there at the club. And then Liverpool has been talked about trying to get Mbappe too for the last couple years. But it used to look pretty likely that Mbappe was going to leave PSG in the summer of 2021, but that has started to change. Fabrizio Romano, the man who's made the "Here We Go" saying famous, is saying it's more and more likely now that he resigns, that he's really happy with the project at PSG, that Pochettino and Neymar are doing everything they can to convince him to stay there. My prediction is that there will be a bunch of hype about him transferring this summer, but he won't leave PSG. So what does that mean for his cards? When the hype is going on this summer about him moving to a Real Madrid or a Liverpool, in concurrence with the Euros, that could be a good time to sell Mbappe. I think we're going to see some huge heights this summer before a little bit of a pullback when he doesn't transfer when the Euros end. But, I mean, these are his main cards: the 2016 Panini foot sticker, the 2017 Top Scrum Champions League, the 2017 Select Field Level, and then the 2018 Prism Base. I really think any of these cards are pretty good buys right now because you have the Champions League semifinal coming up and a possible UCL final and UCL win even. You have the Euros and a possible win there. And then you're going to have hype and speculation about him leaving PSG. But I would sell once that hype starts to ramp up, I would sell because I don't think he's going to leave PSG. Next, big name that is possibly on the move this summer, Harry Kane. He's been linked to Real Madrid, City, United, and Barcelona. But a lot of his movement is contingent upon where the last player I'm going to highlight in this, Haaland, where he might go. But Guardiola has always had an eye for him. United's always wanted Kane. He's been linked to Barca for years. And then Madrid is kind of like a backup option for him. I really hope he doesn't leave Tottenham. I'm a Tottenham fan. That would hurt more than anything if he left. But I think it's likely this summer. And what the word is that if Kane's preference is to stay in the Premier League, and if he stays in the Premier League, I think it's more likely he ends up at United over City, because I think City will get Haaland, though I don't want to dive too deep into that yet. But these are Kane's main rookie cards, which people don't know much about. Harry Kane still has not seen much investment, but his true rookies are the 2015 cards. He's the tops. Well, he also has 2014 Match Attacks cards, but I'm not a fan of Match Attacks as a set, so I'm going to focus on these. He has the 2015 Topps Premier Club, the 2015 Panini Football League, and then he has his first Prism card, which is a 2016 Euro Prism, and then his first Select, the 2016 Select. Out of all these, the Premier Club is the only one to picture him in the Tottenham shirt, and I think that's the one that's going to carry the most value long term. Super rare, super low pop, super tough to find, but we're definitely going to see a run-up in Harry Kane cards this summer because they've been so low. He's the captain of England, who has a great shot to win the Euros, and then he is very likely to transfer to a massive club, to a club with huge amounts of money, huge following, and one that consistently wins trophies, most likely at Manchester United or Manchester City. And if he does that, we're going to really start to see a spike in his cards. So now's a good time to buy Harry Kane. Next, Eduardo Camavinga, one of my favorite wonder kids out there. He's an absolute stud central midfielder for Rennes in the French league. He has decided not to sign a contract extension, meaning his contract is up in the summer of 2022, so he could leave on a free transfer then. But for a club like Rennes that isn't very big, they need the money, so they're going to have to sell him this summer. And he's been linked to the top clubs in the world: Liverpool, United, Madrid, Bayern. And the heaviest links for the past year now have been to Madrid because Zidane wants to bring in a new midfielder, and his top choice was originally Pogba, but that's less likely now. So Camavinga is the next best option for them. Now, Camavinga doesn't have much stuff out yet. So he's this Topps Living card. He's a 1920 sticker. But then he has the Obsidian card, which released the other day, but I couldn't find a picture of it anywhere. But then the main card for Camavinga will be the Topps Chrome Champions League card. And that's, if you want to invest in Camavinga, which I don't think you can really go wrong with top talent, I would wait for the Topps Chrome Champions League card to come out. May 5th is release date for that product, and hold off until then. But the Obsidian's a decent option too, and I don't hate these stickers either. Next, Jadon Sancho, who, as we all know, had the major transfer drama last summer with Manchester United, and would they, won't they meet Dortmund's $180 million valuation. Sancho really wanted to go, and when he wasn't able to, it really affected his form for Dortmund the first 5 months of the year, but now he's back and playing well. But he's in a similar situation to as he was last summer. Really, United want him. He wants to leave, but Dortmund is setting a very high valuation on him again. And the question is, will United meet that price or not? We saw the run-up that happened last summer when the speculation of, oh, Sancho's going to United, all his cards took huge jumps. I think a similar pattern is going to repeat itself with Sancho here this summer. Even if it does that, there's still dangers in investing someone based on the hype of him going to a new club, even if he does make that move. And that's why I want to talk about Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, two German players from the Bundesliga that went to Chelsea. Both of them saw huge amounts of hype last summer, huge run-ups in their card prices because of their big moves to Chelsea, but they both didn't move into the right situation for them. Werner, because Leipzig, the way Leipzig played with him was a very counter-attacking style of football where he would just make straight line sprints and runs and get fed the ball into service. And that's what he's best at, using his speed, but he doesn't have the greatest skills, the greatest hold-up play, the greatest link-up play. And Chelsea doesn't play that way much. They like to be on the front foot, possess the ball. So he has struggled in that system and has continued to do so. And his card prices have cratered because of it. And then Havertz, Leverkusen he basically could float around as like a 10, 9.5, and really have no defensive responsibilities and just mainly be focused on the attack, and all the attack was always for him. It's not like that at Chelsea due to how much talent they have and how much defensive work you need to do in the Premier League versus the Bundesliga. And then he also had to deal with a really tough COVID infection too. And so he hasn't been playing great. His card prices have plummeted also. So we have to remember, even if they get the big players, get the big transfer, it's not just about getting that. If you're going to hold the player for what they're going to do at their next club, you got to do the research and make sure you think they're going into the right situation for them, because it doesn't always happen with these big money transfers. Next, I want to talk about Paul Pogba. His agent, the infamous Mino Raiola, said a few months ago that he was leaving Manchester United this summer, and where he's most likely going to end up at, should he follow through on that, is a return back to Juventus, which is the most likely option, or going to play for Zidane at Real Madrid. And I think this would be a good thing for Pogba and for his prices, because he's gotten pretty stagnant in the Premier League. Even though he's still putting in good performances, there's just a lot of apathy surrounding him, like in the media, with fans, all of that. And I think a move abroad would reinvigorate both his cards and just like his fan base in general. These are the main Pogba rookies. So you have Panini, the 2011 Panini Adrenaline, and then you have his 2012 rookie sticker, Panini Calciatore, which was a big brand. That's the Maradona sticker. A bunch of other famous stickers are Panini Calciatore. And then you have his first Prism card, the 2014 Prism World Cup. And I think Pogba is actually a pretty good buy right now. He's not super expensive or anything. You have the Euros, where he always plays the best for France. And then you have a very likely transfer this summer. We're going to see a hype and a spike in that too. So yeah, Pogba's a good buy right now, I would say. Jack Grealish is one of my favorite players to watch in the Premier League. Attacking midfielder / winger for Aston Villa. Super productive. Looking to play a key role for England this summer in the Euros. Has been heavily linked to the two Manchester clubs. Most closely linked to City. Just imagine him playing with De Bruyne and possibly like a Haaland too. That'd be ridiculous for what numbers they would put up and stuff. But Grealish, top talent. His rookie stuff is interesting. There's not really his true rookie is this 2015. Yes, it's 2015 Topps card. And then he doesn't really have any cards or stickers until 2019 Prism. So people, because he was in the English Championship with Villa over those years, so they didn't make cards for him. And so people consider his Prism cards to be rookies too. Full disclosure, this isn't my specific Blue Ice PSA 10, but I have one of those. I also have a Kaboom Grealish PSA 9 and a Kaboom Grealish PSA 10. I want that out there to be fully transparent with you guys. But I'm a huge fan of Grealish. I think he's a good buy right now because you have England in the Euros where he's going to play a key role, and then you have a probable transfer to City or United, which will cause a big jump too. Messi, the GOAT. He filed the famous Burofax last summer to try to leave Barcelona, and then Bartomeu, the president of Barcelona at that time, forced him to stay. And Messi's still probably on the move this year. But there's not many clubs that could afford his astronomical wages. The only true two clubs that could really afford to pay him what he gets contract-wise are the two oil-rich clubs who are playing in the Champions League semifinal against each other, PSG and Man City. And I think City is probably a touch more likely just because of his links to both Pep Guardiola and then the decision makers at City, which are Ferran Soriano and Shiki Bergistan, who used to be at Barcelona, were the ones who were the architects of that 2008 through 2012 Barcelona team, and they have super good relationships with Messi. But then PSG too, Mauricio Pochettino is a fellow Argentinian, and supposedly he has been in contact with Messi and is trying to convince him to come over to Paris. So we'll see. I don't know necessarily if we're going to see a big spike in Messi cards because of this, just because how big is a transfer for him in the context of his whole career and what he's done on the field. But it could bring some renewed focus back to Messi because all the heat right now is on like Haaland and Mbappe, and Messi and Ronaldo are kind of flying under the radar. So a transfer could bring all that attention roaring back, and then everyone can see, oh, Messi's cheap compared to these guys, and then you could see his prices go up and go up really, really fast. A bunch of different rookies. I just picked two. The best one, the 71 Panini Sports Megagraphs PSA 10, and then the 89 Campeon PSA 10, but he has the 3 Catalan ones, 3 Spanish ones. He has the Mundi Chromo, and then the Liga Este 2. But all of them, I think, are good buys, both in the short term and long term. And then lastly, I started this off with Mbappe, so I have to end it with Haaland. It's only natural. He's been linked to every big club across Europe: Madrid, Chelsea, City, United, Barcelona, Juventus, Paris. Supposedly, Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, the owner, has said to Chelsea, whatever we need to get Haaland, I'm willing to pay. But also, City, even though Guardiola said, oh, we're not going to buy a striker, I think that's all smoke. We saw Haaland's reaction when he stepped onto the Etihad for the first leg of the quarterfinal. He said, wow, this stadium is absolutely magnificent. And then him and Foden were talking after the second leg with, covering their mouths, speaking to each other. And it seemed to me like Foden was trying to tell Haaland, look, you got to come join us next year. So I think the most likely place he ends up is City. I don't think he goes to United because of his dad's history with the club. His dad, not only did his dad play for City, his dad's career was ended by Roy Keane, a Manchester United legend. So I don't know if the feelings in the Haaland family are too warm and fuzzy for Manchester United. Barcelona probably doesn't have the money to afford his fee. Juventus, if they have Ronaldo, probably won't go for him. Paris, I think, is going to be more focused on keeping Mbappe. And then Madrid has a chance, but their number one target is supposedly Mbappe. We'll see if that happens or not. So I think it really comes down to Chelsea and City, but I think Haaland will pick City, which would be absolutely terrifying for the Premier League if he's getting service every game from the likes of Foden and De Bruyne, and then possibly like a Jack Grealish too. It'd be over with at that point. City would just tear apart the Premier League. The main rookie cards we know: the Top from Bundesliga PSA 10, the Panini Fußball Bundesliga sticker PSA 10. You have the Topps Finest, and then the Topps Chrome Sapphire. He also has a normal Topps Chrome too. Like Haaland and like all these other guys, I think we will see a run-up in their cards this summer when the transfer window begins and the hype really starts to set in. That's why I wanted to make this video now, so you were prepared for what's coming. And if you want to load up on players you think are going to be on the move, now would be the time to do so before that hype really starts to set in. Yeah, that's a big looking at the big players who are possibly going to be on the move this summer. I don't know how many of them will move or not because clubs' finances still aren't in the best shape because of COVID, but hopefully we're looking at full stadiums and all that again next year. So there could be some bullish spending clubs this summer in anticipation of that. And the big super clubs will always want to spend money and always want to compete with each other for the top talent. And I think that's going to continue no matter what. And yeah, that's it for this week's video. As always, DM me if you have any questions. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and peace.